Alrighty. Hello everybody. This is Kyusho here, and now, before I do get started, I do have one thing to say. I do apologize for leaving this series off for about 7 months without another part. Now, I got busy trying to finish up my other stories. I know I don't upload as fast as I usually have. I have been slowing down. But I have been trying to clear the board and make way for new stories. So, with that being said, today, I decided since I had a day off, I would go over the 4 parts I had of this story and try to salvage what I could of my notes. Since the notes I do have in my hand about all the information I created for this story were destroyed. And some of these things I have written down, yeah, I can't even read them. So that does suck. But instead of dwelling on that, I'm just gonna make more shit up. So hopefully I have fun doing that. Because I will say, it definitely has been an interesting little experience. Now then, with that being said, I've got some new stuff written down. I've gotten the information I have exposed to you guys written down. And some of the stuff I do plan to show you guys still in my head. Now, with that being said, so you guys don't have to go back and watch the last couple parts, let me explain. In less than 3 weeks, Izuku Midoriya has been through quite a lot of things. He's been training, growing stronger, increasing his proficiency with magic. King Solomon, he is trying to allow Deku to prove himself to his royal court. He went on a few quests. In his last journey, he went to a town that was under siege by a necromancer. He showed many of the soldiers what he was made of, and they saw the hero fight until he could not fight anymore. Whenever he was almost killed by an undead tree controlled by the necromancer, a man stepped in, and because of that man, Izuku is still alive. Unfortunately, however, he died, saving Deku's life. Now, when that happened, Deku's party, they tried to console him about what happened. The knight Oliver, he told Deku a story about his cousin, and what she saw when their village was attacked. Rosa the mage was concerned about what he was saying, and Pyra, the first friend Deku has truly made, she herself was concerned about him. After his wounds, he had to be treated. This was hard for her to see. She's never seen a warrior that badly damaged still moving around. Impaled in 3 spots, the shoulder, the lower back, and in his leg, still fighting, until he dropped from blood loss, or his mana ran out. Now, after they saved the village, reinforcements arrived, and they were able to prepare for the next possible attack of this village. Deku and his party came back to the castle where Deku got a bath, his party was debriefed by the king, and then Deku, he met a woman named Lillian, who was of the elven race, in the library, where he wanted to study and learn more advanced forms of magic. Now, that was when Sir Theodore arrived. He was the champion chosen to train Izuku, the latest hero who's arrived in their kingdom. And that, it does mean quite a lot. Theodore, he told Deku quite simply, just because he's a hero, he's not going to go easy on him. If he wants to survive, he is going to train him. And he's not going to be nice about it. He's going to need to stay on his toes 24/7. Because that's just what life is like in this world. And that's Deku hearing it from a man who just came back from the battlefield. Now, instead of Izuku meeting the other heroes in 2 weeks like Theodore told him, that has been somewhat delayed, as we do currently have about 3 months later, meaning that Izuku, he has spent nearly 4 months in this world. Deku, he does somewhat sit there, trying to focus and keep his mind steady, well aware as to what is happening, well aware as to how much he needs to focus. Sweat is dripped from his forehead. It's a hot day. And the forest, it does act noisily around him. And so Theodore does go to express, going to walk up and bend down, shouting a few things at Deku, telling him about what exactly he wants to hear from him. And Deku does sit there with his eyes closed. Theodore going to stand up and tell him, 5 push-ups now. Deku beginning to respond, and the massive stone on his back, it does go to sit there. Deku lowering himself down to the ground and coming up. Theodore bending down and telling him, what would he do if someone he cares about died? And Deku does try to maintain his composure, going down again and coming back up. Theodore telling him, people would lose faith. Is he aware of that? And Deku, he does go down once more. Going back up as Theodore, he does a turn, bringing his hand up as right now there is where a piece of stone does come flying over. It making its way over Deku as Deku, he does to come down before trying to go back up. Him finding the extra weight on his back as Theodore does get to bend down. Deku opening his eyes as he's to look up. And they do currently go to pour with a white aura. And Deku, he does get to somewhat grit his teeth. Theodore asking him about how he does feel being a damn hero. A lot of people are relying on him, and if that pressure is too much for him, then they can find a way to send him back. Does he make himself clear? And Deku does stare at the man, who does go to stare blankly at him, telling him he wants a response. This training is to help him survive. This world will kill him if he is complacent, and that is what he does not want him to be. Talk, or he'll add a 3rd stone. Does he understand? Him turning. And Deku doesn't open his mouth, somewhat going to let out a breath before his shoulders do somewhat buckle a little. Him slowly going down as Deku, he does go to lower his head, telling Theodore, he's not gonna fail. Good. That's what I want to hear. Now, you still have 2 more. You're not done. Deku going to push up all the way as he does go back down. Theodore telling him to lower himself slowly and to make this one count. Otherwise, they'll go for another run. And Deku, he does lower himself down before he does begin pushing back up harder and harder. And Deku, whenever he does finally reach that 5, he does go to sit there for a second. The man gonna walk over and sit down before he does turn, and his bag does have some things fly over to him. Before he does go to bring his hand up and grab the kettle, turning and looking at Deku, expressing to him about what's going to be happening. Before he's to bring his hand up, grabbing a cup and pouring himself some tea, before bringing it up, and it does go to taste warm. Him going to sip from it and tell Deku, right now a lot of things are happening. So, does he know what's happening next? And Deku's going to look up. Him going to express, no, he doesn't. If you want that weight off, get it off yourself. Sometimes you can't rely on people to do it for you. And Izuku does this on his teeth before he does go to bring his hand up and go to begin to start pushing. Going to throw one of his legs underneath him before going to stand up, and the weight is a fall off of Deku. It getting off of his back as Deku, he does go to throw his hands up and somewhat stretch. before Theodore does get to tell him. Going to pour him some tea and hand him a cup. That's good. His training has been getting better. I still don't understand. You don't need to. You're training with me. I'm training you in the way I know how. Really? I do. And I know. Now, those should answer your questions. If you still have a problem, you could always try to attack. And Deku, he does just want to lean back on the stone, sitting down and going to take a sip. Theodore going to look up at Deku. He doesn't see that. The man lunging forwards as Deku does throw at his arm. Him going to block the attack with his hand as he does it hold his cup of tea. And the man, he does look at Deku. Before he does gonna step backwards and go to sip from his own cup, telling Izuku, that's good. He still spilled some tea though. So, that does mean quite a bit. Tomorrow is his day off, if he's got everything lined up correctly. Yes, yes it is. Why? Good. Rest up. There should be a healing potion in your bag, right? You packed it? I did. And you haven't been doing that thing you've talked about? Spending points? Your system hasn't been activated? No, no. I've been doing what you said. Training, not upgrading, like I told you. I've been curious, though. I don't get it. The last time I casted so much, I nearly puked. So why cast that much at all? What do you mean? Deku going to somewhat relax a bit, realizing that now that they're talking this way, the training is over, though an attack still might be possible. He does keep that guard up. At this point, it might as well be part of his reflexes. Then again, that's what this man wants. He's always on guard, always ready, always aware. He's a good teacher, as much as he does not like to admit that. And Deku does express. All this physical stuff, all the casting, is that to make his spell stronger? The mana increase thing he's talked about. He doesn't get it. Of course you don't. Kid, what do you know about magic? Just what Miss Rosa taught me. And what Oliver has taught me as well. Your sword work has gotten better. Though, you're a bit wrong on the magic portion. Magic isn't like a muscle. It's an external part of us. We can focus it, channel it, cast with it. Some people can't at all. They need devices like wands, or those gloves that warriors use. Hell, I think I've even told you before about a few things. You have. Certain people who can't cast spells, they use conduits. Good. It's a good thing you remember that. Now, what else did I tell you? This is a trick question. It is. You're smart. Magic isn't like a muscle. The more you use it, yes, the more you can achieve. But that's because your body takes in more. People don't realize it. They treat it like it's a part of them. In a way, they're correct. In a way, I am wrong. It's strange. It works like a curse. Many humans have the ability to use it. Many don't. Though those who do, they're afflicted by it a little bit more each time they use it a lot. Or Not like a curse. Well, that is a good description. It is sort of like a muscle in that case. Do you see where it's confusing? A little bit. Yes. The spiritual need heals faster than the body does. That's where most people get conflicted. At least that's what my master taught me. You've mentioned him quite a bit, Sir Theodore. The man turning, looking at Deku as his express. Theodore. Good. No titles. I understand. It's still a habit. I get it. At this point, you do it because you expect someone to show up. I sort of do. But still, this is incredible. Deku going to sip the rest of his tea before he's at turn. Going to stand and going to somewhat stretch. Theodore staring at Izuku and seeing the progress they've made. The boy is stronger. He can see that quite apparently. Though he does want him to know quite a few things about this training. Though, at this point, the man's not sitting there, thinking about it. He made a bet. His champion could be stronger. He's training in the same way his master did. But his magic, that could be lacking. It could be bad. No. The boy's powerful in casting. In fact, he might have him beat there. Not as strong yet, but one day he will be. So that does have him quite curious. Him gonna don't jump up. Expressing to Izuku, take the next several days off. Deku turning back before he does, gonna throw his hand up to strike. And Theodore does, gonna bring his hand up as he does, gonna throw Deku backwards, and he does go to float in the air. Him expressing, now's not the time for that. Right now, no more training. What are you talking about? Can you put me down? I'm not going to attack you. You have my word for now. Okay. That bad? Yes, it is. I want your focus on this. Deku being lowered to the ground, and the man, he has to see Deku completely relax, telling him, as he does step forwards and go to grab the pot, going to pour a bit more tea to drink, telling Deku, right now, he's thinking about taking him to see his master, one of the people who has taught him. One of them? Yes, Izuku. The other is gone. He was powerful, a great man, way more proficient in magic than I was. And I think you would have known him well. Really? Yes. I can see aspects of you in him. Though I'm sure you can see aspects of me in you as well. It's complicated. The reason I'm still training you is because I see something worthwhile. Something that can help. Now, take the next several days off, and we will embark on a journey. After that, then we will head out. There's going to be a tournament in a few months. 2, to be exact. Do you think that you'll be ready to fight? I don't know. You still have doubt in yourself. You were chosen by a god to be a champion, and you have a unique skill. That means you have power. I've explained this to you before, boy, and I'm tired of explaining it to you again. Next time you doubt yourself, I will attack. and you will need to either find a potion or a healer. Him going to stand up as Deku, he does go to bring his hands up. The man going to walk to Izuku and bring his hand out, putting it onto his chest, telling him he was chosen to win. He needs to stop that doubt. He knows he has what it takes to be a hero. He knows there's a warrior in there. Doubt gets you killed in combat. Remember those words. There is no room for doubt on the battlefield. There is only the mind, instincts, and what you know for fact. Though, be aware. Too much confidence, the arrogance, will get you killed. He's learned that lesson. Him shooting his thumb up to his chest, telling Deku, he's learned that lesson too many damn times. The only reason why he's still alive is because he's learned it more than once. And he's been lucky enough to survive those lessons. Does he understand? And Izuku does get a nod. Before he's at turn, giving his back to his opponent as he does go to walk over to his bag, before bending down and going to bring his hand up, reaching into his bag and checking. Okay, come on. He knows the crystal's in here. Come on. Here it is. Bring it up and going to turn. Before he does, going to think about who he wants to contact and pour some magic into it. It giving a glow as Deku, he has a look down at it. Going to wait and wait and wait. Before it does go to open up and Deku does get to see an image. It going to be of Pyra along with Oliver. And the two do get to try and ask him exactly what's up. Hey, I got a few days off of training. Did you guys want to meet? Maybe go on a quest? Just hang out a little bit? Sure. I haven't seen you in a month. I know. Sir Theodor's been a little bit aggressive with the training. Though I think I've been doing pretty good. Oliver, I want to challenge you right now. Hey, easy, Tiger. You got some gear? Yeah, I do. I've got a sword. And Sir Theodore mentioned on our trip to the Orc Nation that if we do pass by a Dwarven Forge Master, I might be able to get a better sword. Maybe one that can last more than a few, well, I guess, practices. Maybe. You know, Dwarven steel is quite powerful. Yeah, I know. Trust me, I understand. I've been trying to keep up with my studies. Izuku, your spellcasting? Oh, yeah, about that. I haven't really been doing too much. Deku turning. His eyes gonna glow for the dude to stop. Him telling her. His skills are pretty good. He's got a few levels and, well, he'd rather not express that just yet. Maybe in person, but that's really about it. He feels like he might run them off if he tells them how powerful he's gotten. Has Oliver been training? I have been. Been working my butt off over here. Don't let him get in your way, Izuku. I'm sure you can beat him. Thanks, Pyra. Though, what about Rose? How has she been? She's been busy, you know. Ever since they've come back, she's been going over a lot of the items that they've brought. She's still appraising many of them, making sure that some of them are not cursed. That's good. Though, what's going on with the kingdom? Not much, Izuku. Though, you might want to be careful. About what? Rosa? She doesn't like being called Rose. Oh, sorry. I wasn't thinking about that. Trust me, she's heard it a lot, especially with her particular trade. Listen, come back soon, and I'll take you up on that challenge. Don't get me twisted about that. I know. Listen, do you guys think that we can take at least one day off? I'm real beat. And if you guys do get a stamina potion, I'd love one of those. Listen, whenever I do get back, it should be fine. I'm about 2 days ride from you. If I run, I should be able to get there soon. You're gonna run? You sure that's a good idea, Izuku? I'll be fine. Theodore's been training me in a lot of things over here. And to be honest, I'd love to at least get a good book in my hands. I've been a little bored. I've been meaning to try and pick up on some magic, but he's keen to have me use what I already have. That's not a bad idea. Yeah, Rosa would say the same thing, and she is a spellcaster. I know, but still, I'd like to just learn more. You know, I've seen a bunch of magical stuff, and the advanced stuff I want to get into. We get it, Izuku. Yeah, advanced magic is something that everyone wants to learn. Just hurry home, at least back to the capital. Yeah, I'll get ready on my journey. Deku going to close the crystal in his hand and go to cut his mana drip to it. It going to close as Deku does stuff it back in his bag. Bring his hand down and going to grab his shirt. Before he does, gotta throw his arm up and take a whiff. He's covered in sweat. So maybe just rinse off in the pond? No. Find the river nearby. That'd be a good idea. Okay, he knows he has some crystals in here somewhere. The water crystal. They go grabbing it. Before he does go to bring his hand up and go to begin pouring mana into it. And the water crystal does begin to shoot up into the air as Deku does go to let it just rinse him off. Currently, him going to stand there better before he does a shake off his hair. Pulling his hands up and going to pull it back. Before he does go to tie it back with some string he does currently have in his bag. And he does go to grab it, jumping up, putting his shirt on quickly and beginning to run. Since he's got a few hours to go. And right now, he needs to get there quickly. And Sir Theodore does stand with his arms crossed. Before he does go to bring his hands up and pull his bag towards him. It flying over as he does go to grab a crystal and go to make his own phone call. Right now, wanting to talk to the other champions trainers. And this should be pretty good. He's confident in that hero, especially because he's gotten quite strong. He's proud to be that boy's teacher. Though he should probably go see his old mentor. See if the old stubborn fool is still alive. And this, it does get across his mind. A smile going across his busted lip. And right now, Deku, he does make his way back to the kingdom. Getting back to the capital after a day. He took a break and stayed in a small village. Used some money at the inn, and then the next morning he left, running straight back and going to arrive after some rest. In order to get into town, there was where he got to the kingdom. He made his way to the castle, and whenever he was greeted, he did get away with the guards, who, when they did see him and that amulet he's wearing, they go to see the royal seal, it allowing him passage into the castle. Before Deku, he does go to sit down in the courtyard. He already got his bag in his room, his new weapon ready. And right now, he is quite intrigued to see where his old teacher, his comrade in arms, he does lie. He knew him for a short time, but he treated him as an equal. And that Deku does quite like. This does mean a bit. If he's good, then he's hoping his training has gotten him to be stronger. And that right now Deku is counting on. There was a few wild animals out in the forest. Some of them were strong and difficult, but Theodore, he did overlook his training, making sure he didn't get into too much trouble. Right now, his main concern is whether or not he's gonna be alright. And as Izuku don't sit there, there is where a woman does come walking up. Deku turning his head and seeing the elven woman. Her with her long white hair and her purple eyes. Before she could ask him exactly if he's alright. Oh, hey, a long time no see. Hello, Izuku. It's been quite a while. Yeah, yeah. How have you been? I've been quite fine. As for you, Hiro Izuku? Just Izuku's fine. I'm back in town. Got a few days off before gotta go to the land of the orcs. I don't know its name, but they're hosting a tournament. The other heroes are supposed to be there. I am already aware of this information. You are? Yes, I am. As you know, my grandfather, he's made me well aware. Right, no, I do understand. It is going to be interesting, though, to say the least. Deku going to someone sit there, turning back and going to someone rest. Before there is where the group, they do come walking up. Lillian talking a little bit as the Ranger Pyra does get a walk to see Izuku. Him gonna jump up when he does to see the three. And whenever Oliver does to see Deku, he does notice the immediate difference. Pyra running over and pulling him into a hug, talking about how much they've all missed him. And she just doesn't turn looking at his arms. Before she does gonna bring her hands up, her patting him on the chest with her hands, talking about it. Oh well, it looks like the training's been quite good. Has he been eating well? He's gotten a little bit taller. Yeah, I've been fine. We don't really find a lot of salt out there, so we try to not let too much go to waste. I do see that. How has your training been going, though? Fine. Though haven't really been practicing with too much magic. Well, not learning more magic types, I should be saying. It's good that you've been keeping up. Now Rosa going to step forwards, telling Izuku she can sense quite a good amount of magic coming off of him. Though, has he fixed his issues? I'm working on it. Though your magic is quite powerful as well. Her smiling at Deku, and seeing that he does know how to properly channel mana, and that it does make her proud. Before Oliver, he does unsheath his weapon, getting into a stance as Deku does a look up. Seeing the man who has yet to say a word, and Izuku, he does go to stand, bringing his hand up and grabbing the sheath his sword is inside of. Before he does go to grab onto it and stand, proud, ready, walking past Rosa and going to face off against him, yet to draw his sword. And the man, he doesn't notice the way Deku's face drops into a serious tone. The eyes of a warrior, the eyes of someone who's seen combat, the eyes of a hunter, someone who knows exactly what they're doing. And this does somewhat bring a smile to his face. he's seen that look on a trained warrior, and seeing it on Izuku, it does get his blood pumping and ready to fight. Right now, Deku going to stand there. Before Oliver does it rush him, and Deku does bring his hand up, drawing his blade. As the moment he does, there is where Oliver is a swing down. Deku going to block the attack. We're going to flatten his blade, sliding it forwards and throwing up his left hand, punching directly into Oliver's chest. As Oliver, he does a step backwards, bring his hand up and going to blast out ice. Deku going to bring his own hand up and going to cast his fire spell. Right now, him blasting fireball out and going to strike the ice as it'll fly through the air. Oliver going to throw his sword down and slash with the fireball, cutting in half as the two sides to explode to his left and his right. And he does going to bring his sword up ready. Deku going to hold up his weapon for bring his other hand up to it, ready as well. Oliver smiling at Deku as he does go to step forwards. Izuku this time going on the offensive. And Oliver, he has to see that. Deku rushing in, we're going to swing with his right hand, going to send out a strike as Oliver does a block the attack. Him, quite alone whenever he does, going to flatten his sword, and Deku, he does a step in, getting closer to range for sliding his sword out and away from Oliver's sword, trying to draw his in closer. Deku going to hit him in the face with his bicep. Him clocking him like that as he throw out his right leg. Him going to throw Oliver to the ground as his leg does go behind his foot. Deku going to stand there where Oliver does smash the ground, and he does go to hold up his left hand. Right now, him going to hold his middle finger and the finger next to it together into his palm and going to close his thumb. His pointer finger and little finger staring him down quickly. Before he does begin a charge, fire between his hand. Those two fingers acting as prods to direct it, almost like you're directing lightning. As I tell Oliver, does he concede? And Oliver does stare at Deku, the small amount of flame building between his fingers. As I talk about it, he's definitely gotten stronger. He does concede. Bring his hand up. And Deku does go to open his hand, dispersing the small fire in between his fingers, grabbing Oliver's and pulling him to his feet. Talking about it. It's quite good to see him again, though. I understand. I gotta say, though. Damn heroes. You guys get strong fast. I wouldn't say that. Theodore likes to be aggressive with training. I honestly don't know how I'm handling it, but I think I've done well. Done well? Zuko, you hit me like a damn troll. It's a good thing I wasn't wearing armor. Pretty sure you could have dented it. Really? I was trying to hold back a bit. Good thing. I might have broke something, but pretty sure I might have a hell of a bruise. Nothing a healer can't fix. Appreciate that. So how easy were you going on me? About 60, 70%? About 70, yeah. Maybe. Not trying to knock your head off, but I wanted to be confident you were pretty strong. Good. Don't underestimate your opponent. The order has drilled a lot of things into my head, so it's a little bit more like second nature. I get it. Though, it's cause for celebration. You're back in town. Him guys won't turn. Before his eyes due to fall on Lillian. His back immediately shooting back into a straight position. Him turning and expressing. He's sorry. He didn't recognize her. Princess, he does apologize for. It's quite all right. Her bring her hand up. And informing him. The hero returned. He was a part of his party. The two have a relationship that she does not know about. They're comrades in arms. She has heard plenty of stories, especially about the heroes from before. They are quite good people. Thank you for understanding, Lady Lillian. Um, you may act freely, sir. Thank you. I do appreciate that. I understand. Though what you do on your personal time is fine. You have time off? Yes, I do, Lady Lillian. We are currently waiting for orders. Understood. Her doesn't stand up, walking away expressing about how she didn't see anything. And Oliver does turn back to Deku, talking about it. That's a relief. Yeah, I get it. Though, what are you waiting for? Hmm? Orders. The front lines are worried that the demon army might try to attack again. Though they've been relatively quiet, more so than usual. There's worries about what's happening with that. The land of demons is an odd place. I see. Yeah, so you do see our concern. If they attack, then we're going to need to try to deploy what we have ready. I think you're lucky, though. Does Sir Theodore think that your training's done? I don't know. Though he definitely is worried about the tournament. Is he? Well, yeah. Apparently, I'm supposed to meet the other heroes there. Seriously? Wait, so that would mean all four of you are there? Yeah, I think so. Though, I am quite intrigued about a few things. Really? Yeah, I'm wondering what they're like. There's no way of knowing. I don't know. I like my life here, but I do miss home. Meeting them, talking about it's gonna bring a lot of stuff up. You've had a lot of time to think about that, Izuku. I have, yes. I'm just excited about that. Heck, I want to go out hunting again. Maybe see about improving my magic. Deku threw up his hands before asking Rosa what she thinks about his current mana. And she just don't turn staring at him, talking about it. He could use a bit more training, but for a decent spellcaster, she said that he's strong. Appreciate it. Though it wasn't turn talking about it. He's mentioned before that there's a good bar in the kingdom. How about they go there? See if there's any good quest, or if there's any good ale there. And Oliver does not going to bring his hand up, seeing how much Izuku has somewhat changed. He wants to go on a quest and have a brew with his friends, people he does consider to be close to him. It's good. It's nice. He tried to help out a little bit with that training of his, though Sir Theodore was a little apprehensive to have his quote unquote allies there. He wanted to get some one on one time with the hero. There were times where they were allowed to visit him, but still, what he's been put through has been crazy. And the idea that he's going to meet the other heroes, who might have been through their own harsh training, is good. But he's going to get more. And Oliver does his own turn. Leading the way is Deku, he does it to put away his sword. And the four do get to head to the bar. Pyra, a little intrigued to hear about what Deku's been through. And maybe even see how much that backbone of his has improved, since he's walking with a lot more confidence than before. And she's glad that he's been able to adjust after what happened to that commander, Sir Theodore might have been harsh on him, but from the stories she's heard of that man, he's not a heartless person. Though his teachers, they are quite different people. And with that being said, the four do get to head out on another adventure, as I do hope you guys enjoyed. And I do have to say, recording this one, it has made me feel a lot better about bringing this series back. Recording this part and just getting back into the story. I can just already feel my creative juices flowing, and I want to record another part, but that does sort of suck. I gotta deal with SCP, and then I gotta deal with this one. Then I could possibly go back to the Fallout series and handle things there. Then I'm gonna deal with Batman. So yeah. Anyway, guys, I do hope you enjoyed, and I'll catch you guys in the next part.